What's up, everybody? It's Brandon from Box Office Banner and Cult Flick Symposium. I just got back from the Hunger Games prequel that I can't remember the name of. What's it called? A song, the song of Ballad and Snakes. Is that what it is? It's some shit like that. You know what I'm talking about, right? Everybody's already like clicking off. This man does not even know what he's reviewing. I'm not a big Hunger Games fan, but I gotta say, I talked to a few people, that were bigger fans of the movie, and they essentially told me like, it's not all that hype for it. And I was like, weird, because the older ones I enjoyed for the most part, but didn't love them or get the craze that was behind them. Whereas this trailer, for some reason, had me hooked in and being like, oh damn, like, is this about to be dope? Is this about to be cool? So I was all in on it for some odd reason. Maybe I was ready to somehow try to catch the wave that everybody else experienced on the first wave, and maybe the second wave I can roll in and be like, this is more of my alley, my own niche. Did it do that though? Did I watch the movie? Did it come fucking through? And damn, it was long. 2 hours and 40 minutes. Started off. It was kind of slow-ish. But damn, was the story good. Damn, did the story have me hooked in, and damn, did I ride that momentum the rest of the way, because I absolutely love this movie. The first, because there's 3 parts. The first part, super long, really drawn out, doesn't seem like a lot's happening, but we're building to something, and then you have like your first moment that is one of those like come out of nowhere, out of the blue moment that really lets you know out of nowhere, because you're watching it. There's something about the Hunger Game movies where they are violent, but it feels like, because it's teenagers, I guess, and the people that are big fans of them is like younger teenagers too. It just has like a high school action movie vibe to it, and that doesn't always sit well. And you're kind of lulled to sleep by that going into the movie, and as it's building towards something, you're like, is this even going to be violent? And the first scene that you get is like a boom scene, and you're like, oh shit, like, did that just fucking happen? Holy shit. And it not only comes out of nowhere to break up all that buildup, wondering when shit was going to pop off, but it really cements right away that this is not going to be a watered down PG-13 movie. This is going to be a PG-13 movie that is going to push the limits at times. It makes you think like, okay, like, this is PG-13. It might not be R, but it's going to be dark in spots when it has to. People that need to die for the sake of story are not going to be fucking spared, or not going to be cookie cuttered over just because, we don't want to upset people, and like, oh, should this person die? And like, is this going to be sad? Like, they're not doing that. They're doing what's fucking necessary, which is crucial and big in a villain origin story. The whole storyline, all that, very good, very well acted, very well put together, very well engaging. That doesn't make you bump along the way like, oh, let's get to the action. No, you're riding the wave, you're going with the rhythm, and then you finally get to the action, and you're like, here we are, perfect setup. And then when we do get to the action, we get a lot of that in the middle act. In the middle fucking act, dude. All the fucking fighting, all the crazy shit that goes down, all the murder. You really, I feel for a lot of these characters that are, boom, getting offed. Seemingly like every other say, it's like, oh shit, they're gone, they're gone, they're gone. They all, like, while they're not amazing characters, they all really seem to get to make their own stamp in their own little weird, crazy ways. And the way this fucking plays out, it's just a lot of fucking fun. That's all I'm going to say. And I will say, the third act, initially, kind of, I think it was more of just like, what are we doing here? It was more of like, it felt like a new place. The movie went a direction. I'm like, okay, well, where are we going? What is this going to be? How's this going to go? We know it's a villain origin story, but it's just like, this is a completely different vibe now. What is happening? This movie's so long. Would it have been better if we cut it right after the middle? What is it? Where's it going to take us? I was kind of slow to come around to it, but I don't think the third act is as weak as some people are saying. I'm seeing the people that don't really like it seem to kind of fall off in the third act. I felt that initially, but I think I'm going to like the third act even more on the next watch, because it was more of like uncharted territory. It kind of feels like the ending should have been what the middle was, in terms of, like the build up, and now we're on cloud 9. Now we got to come down a little bit again. Where are we going with this? That was the whole vibe. And we knew we had, if you know the runtime, I'm like, we got another hour of this shit. What are they about to do with this? Like, how can they capitalize on everything that was so great before? So once I kind of came out of that vibe and really like started to cling to what the third act of the story was bringing, I found myself enjoying it a lot more. And like I said, I think on second watch, when I go into it, now I know where we're going with the story. I know how they're going to capitalize and elevate the movie even more with what they bring full circle in the third act. I'll probably enjoy the movie even more. I've got nothing to really complain about here, guys. The action was good. The acting was good. It was really slow and deliberate, but it wasn't the slow and deliberate that felt like pacing issues or just slow to the point where you're like, God, get somewhere. It was always building towards something. The dialogue was engaging. It was always interesting. Just the things and like theories and different stuff characters were talking about before we finally saw shit pop off. And then they just did it exactly how a prequel should be done. These things are usually hit or miss. And then once we got to the action and the battle, like it was fun. It was exhilarating. It was like, oh shit, pulse pounding. Oh my God, they took it there. They really went there with that. This is good. This is how it's done. And then the third act, just, I mean, I don't want to say too much with that, but I mean, it's very well done how they pull it all together and piece it all together and leave you just like, oh shit, like I hope this makes enough money and they're going through with another one because I'm sure these movies take a shit ton of money to make with the spectacle they put on screen because I definitely want to see this go forward. I want more of this. This was my favorite Hunger Games movie by far and away. I enjoyed all of the other four, but you know, like the first one was good. You know, it was like, it's pretty fucking good, but like, what the fuck are people talking about? Catching Fire was like, okay, this is definitely an upgrade. I could see why this is the best of them, but I still don't necessarily get great. It's great in spots. It's definitely the one that has the most like, oh damn, like I get the appeal that everybody else has, but it still wasn't quite that for me. And then the Mockingjay movies, you know, they were all right, but it just kind of underwhelming in a way to end what they had built on 1 and 2. And then this one comes in, maybe like I said, it's where I'm just riding the momentum. Like now I'm seeing them fresh. I'm older now. I'm diving into the story more, but I was fully engaged on this and along for the ride way more than I was on the other ones. And I'm probably going to be in the minority saying that. I did see, however, it has the lowest Rotten Tomato scores from the critics. It does actually have the highest audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So like maybe I'm onto something and word of mouth is going to spread a little more and we're going to see that this isn't a failure because a lot of people initially were like, prequel, do we need a prequel? And then they saw the Rotten Tomatoes score and they went on the whole like, oh my God, this ain't as good. But from what I'm seeing, it looks like people that are seeing it are enjoying it pretty well. Join that crew. Don't listen to these people talking shit online. They're like, we don't need a prequel. Look, it's not even rated that high. The word of mouth and the fans will really let you know how you feel because that's what you are. You're not a fucking critic. You're not this person picking the shit to pieces. You're going for entertainment value. And I think you will be thoroughly entertained if you were into the books and this type of storyline and world building because I think they really knock it out of the park with that. And it is just an excellent villain origin story. This movie is going to be an 8.8 out of 10 to me, but it was over a 9 till that third act. And like I said, I think it's only because that little lull where it's just like, where are we going now? Was it? I felt my score kind of dip. And the third act, whereas like the first two acts were 9 plus, the third act was like a high 7. So that lowered it down into the 8s. Maybe on second watch, it might creep back over that 9 territory because this was, it shocked me. It seems like my favorite movies this year have been the ones that I wasn't hyped to see. I don't know why that is, but it's the ones I'm just like, I didn't really expect much out of this, but holy shit. The ones I'm like, oh my God, I can't fucking wait. I can't fucking like, I mean, it was okay. God, it didn't measure up to expectations. Funny how that works sometimes, guys, but keyword sometimes. That's happened all year for me. Super weird. Anyways, love you guys. Check it out if you're scared, because I think you might enjoy it. I don't know. See for yourself. Peace.